But dude, again, this is why I was so excited. When we were just arranging the time and sorting stuff out, you're like, man, I'm watching Riddle versus Thatcher again right now. It's badass. Now, dude, I have seen it in sort of clipped form, because again, I usually check out NXT on Fridays. But look, I've seen the feedback. Again, I've seen the clips. I've seen the part when flipping Matt Riddle jumps off the side because he's a mentalist. Dude, give it to me, man. How good was it?
I mean, it wasn't even that long, bro. I thought that the match would be, because it's expected to be Riddle's blow-off match for, NXT, and he's expected to go to the main roster. So I'm thinking they might give him 25, 30 minutes. But it was kind of a short 10, 15-minute match from the jump, bro. Like, from the jump, Riddle just jumps off the platform. The way the cage was set up was fucking amazing. They had like this platform around the little cage. It reminded me of the old school. You remember the cages that Ken Shamrock used to fight in? Cages back in WWF times. It kind of reminded me of that, and it had like a scaffolding platform on top of it so they could walk around it. I'm sure you've seen it. But like off the break, Riddle just attacks him, hits him with a flying knee, and it was like just a slapper for 15 straight minutes. Like, they brawled a little bit and did some grappling in the first minute or so, but after that, man, that was one of the hardest hitting matches I've ever seen, bro. Like, I mean, they were trying to legit injure each other. Thatcher lost teeth. You know what I mean?
I guess it's kind of what you have to do, isn't it, without the fans? And when you've got, I know it basically looked like a steel cage, but you're trying to get it across as something different. So if the idea is to give it that sort of mixed martial arts feel, and you can't get the energy from the crowd, you've got to do it by just hammering each other in the face. I mean, that's what Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak have been so good at. But obviously this was different because it was the focus on the show. And I saw the finish as a GIF. So it was the worst. It was the worst resolution ever. But he tapped Matt Riddle, right? He tapped out Matt Riddle.
He tapped out Matt Riddle. And what was weird about it was, it was weird and it was good, is that soon as, Thatcher, the bell rang and Thatcher let him go, like, Riddle came to. It wasn't a situation where he laid on the ground and sold it for 20 seconds like he was unconscious. He immediately kind of got up like, yo, what happened? What just happened? So
yeah, like legit, man.
Like, it would look like a legit fight. Like, he looked like he had done that before.
You mentioned the whole WWE thing, which is actually a really good segue into the... Look, I've got my Twitter open in the background, as I always do when I'm working. Right. And I tweeted out ups and downs sort of just before we started recording. And I've seen replies coming in going, Miller, can't believe you like the Tyson versus Jericho stuff. It's all WWE, blah, blah. And look, it's hard to argue, again, I'll use that word again, but it's hard to argue against that because, of course, it was aping what happened in 1998. You'd have to be crazy to pretend otherwise. What did you think of it, though, man? Did you think it was... Because my point with it is this. I think I look at wrestling kind of different to most people anyway. Right. The thing is, in terms of the execution, is it the best thing I've ever seen? No. But do I understand what they're trying to achieve? Yes. And what happened when I woke up today? On all the websites that I usually check for sports, Tyson, AEW, AEW.
It worked.
Yeah. So, like, don't forget, Tony Khan, Mike Tyson ain't cheap, man. Mike Tyson, one of the biggest celebrities on the planet. Still, to this day, everyone knows who Mike Tyson is. For better or worse, doesn't matter. He ain't coming for a cheap paycheck. So you want to make sure you get your return on that investment. And the way to do that is to get on SportsCenter, is to get on ESPN, is to get on... I saw on Reddit some Portuguese sports site that apparently never talks about wrestling, had AEW and Mike Tyson on their front page. And when you look at it like that, I'm like, okay, it wasn't bad. It wasn't the best thing that they've done. But my word, how can you be pissed off about that? Because to this day, and for a long ass time, so many people are still going to equate wrestling with WWE. That's what my mum calls it. Oh, Simon likes that WWE stuff. I'm like, no, mum's a company. It's called wrestling. She doesn't get it. But I understand that. People do it with UFC too, right? Of course they 100%. Do. So you need to start fighting back against that, and that's going to take a long time, but a great way to do it is publicity. And again, when I look at it that way, I'm like, I can't moan, I can't complain. It's genius business. It just is.
Yeah, it was so cringe though, Simon. It was so cringe. Oh my God, it was so cringe. I was watching. I wanted it to be so good, and there was like some ha moments in there, but it was so cringe. But like you said, they accomplished their goals. Who said that Mike Tyson's appearance back in, '98 or whatever it was when he came in with Shawn Michaels and DX and all them. Who's to say watching that back now isn't sort of cringe? It's not like Mike Tyson's a fucking actor. Yeah, I mean, he's a boxer.
Dude. Yeah, Mike Tyson has no clue what he's doing. Don't get me wrong.
He has no idea. Like, you saw him flexing at the pay-per-view. I was like, what is he doing? Is he okay? Why is he just standing on the ropes flexing right now?
Can't take his t-shirt off either. Really.
Exactly. That was so, oh my God. That was so.
Oh, man.
So, it's funny. And if, maybe watch it from the outside, you'll watch it. If you were just flicking the channels, you'd be like, what the fuck is this? But, as a wrestling fan, you have to understand what pro wrestling is. The shit is goofy. It's silly. It's funny. Sometimes people are going to mess up and, screw things. You just got to accept the bad, because you're going to get a bunch of good, in the end, or from another source, in the same realm, the realm of wrestling. So I take it all how it comes, man. Like, I don't get that overly mad about anything. I actually posted something on Instagram the other day. Like, why do y'all get so upset? It's literally adults fighting in underwear. Why does anybody take any of this shit that seriously? Nobody should be that emotional. Like, I'm passionate because I love it. I'm not passionate because I'm looking for a reason to hate. You know what I mean?
So hell yeah, man.
It's a little bit different. Like, so there's, people like, that guy who comes out and says ridiculous things about, Alexa Bliss on, and things like that. And then you have, and that's a different kind of passion. You know what I mean? Than what I want to represent and want to, bring across to the people that, the few people that happen to listen to my show. Like, I don't know, man.
No, dude, you've summed it up. Like, it's one of those things where I think you can just take it or leave it, as weird as that sounds. And I think the question is, where does it build? Because on paper, we're going to get what? Mike Tyson with his legit MMA fighters taking on the Inner Circle?
Bringing them back? Are they going to keep?
Because I didn't even notice. Because again, I'm always making notes. I saw Sahido and I saw whoever the hell the other guy was, and then I was like, wait, it's Rashad. Why is Rashad Evans there?
Like it's just fighters, right?
Yeah, I was just like, what is going on? And they ain't going to work pro wrestling. Like, they're just not. Maybe Tyson will do something. So I'm massively intrigued to see what they do with it. Obviously, back in 1998, what did Tyson do? He just on the outside. He was an enforcer. Didn't do anything. Punched out Shawn Michaels. Right. And that's pretty much all he did for his 6 weeks.
He did say he was making a comeback, though, Simon. You don't think he been in the Performance Center? Or, the AEW's version of the Performance Center working out?
But maybe, dude, right? Maybe that all ties in. He wants to come back, do his exhibition fights. He's always been a wrestling fan. Yeah. Maybe he actually wants to take some bumps. I don't know.
That would be crazy. I just thought about that. That would be kind of crazy, man. I wouldn't mind seeing it. It would be horrible to watch. We just have to be another bad Tyson match. Yeah, I mean, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. The career didn't end great.
Yeah, I'm talking about Tyson Fury. Like, we don't need to see no more Tysons in the wrestling.
No. It was the thing with Tyson Fury was, though, I'll say this: I was more impressed than I thought I would have been. Do you know what I mean? I thought he was going to be an absolute mess. But actually, when I was watching it, I was like, look, I wouldn't say this is good, but you're holding your own better than I would have presumed you would have done.
You did better than I would have done.
Well, I think, I don't know, man. Right. With the amount of training you may have done, but that's the point. I think he kind of hit his peak about him, and you don't know what the hell it is. There's just something, just the way he talks, he's so relaxed. He's cool. Like, he's a cool guy. I was the same, like, when I first heard about the, because I kind of knew him from UFC, and then people said, oh, he's transitioning into wrestling, he's really, really good, and I watched some of his stuff, but I hadn't seen a lot of his promos. I was like, well, he is really, really good, but again, I didn't connect with him straight away. But then the more I saw him, the more I talked to him, heard him talk, I should say, I was like, oh no, this guy is just, this guy is great. He's just different.
It's different, and over here at Wrestling on Weed, Matt Riddle is a company favorite. We love Matt. We support Matt in all his endeavors because Matt is a proud stoner. So we support Matt. Yeah, I mean, so we, as soon as I found out about him and I realized how good he was, I was all in. I was like, oh, I love this guy. There was moments, he has cringe moments where, you know, some of his promos are like a little cringe, but it's like, you know, it's whatever. It's, you know, nobody bats 100%. So the guy's really good at what he does. He's a legit fighter. Which makes his, you know, wrestling matches even more entertaining to watch. But, you know, over here at WOW, we love Matt Riddle. You know what I mean? We're a big fan of him. So, you know, yeah, I'm hoping the best for the guy, man.
Hell yeah, man. Totally. Like I say, it sounded like the best way to go out at NXT. The result aside, you can argue about that till the cows come home. And we'll see. Again, you never say anything is 100% official. But tomorrow night on SmackDown, I would guess you get some kind of introduction with Matt. I do too. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. I think there's especially right now where you kind of need new stars.